Hey guys, my name is Evan and welcome to Economics 101, your number one source for everything economics. What if I told you one of the biggest reasons the US dollar dominates the world is oil? Not gold, not military, but oil. The global economy has operated under something called the petrodollar system for decades, and it helped make the US dollar the most powerful currency on earth. So today we're going to cover what the petrodollar system actually is, why countries buy oil in US dollars, and whether this entire system is starting to crack. Before we jump into the video, I do have a quick favor that really helps grow the channel. If you enjoy simple explanations about economics, oil, geopolitics, inflation, global finance, please hit the like button and subscribe. Let's break this video down. Okay? Hop into it. So what is the petrodollar? The petrodollar is not a separate currency. Number one, it simply refers to the global system where oil is priced and traded primarily in US dollars. Quick example. So if Japan wants oil, if Germany wants oil, if India wants oil, they usually need US dollars first. Okay? That creates massive global demand for dollars. And that demand, um, that demand for US dollars helps strengthen our economy. It helps strengthen our US financial markets and America's global influence. Okay? Because when the entire world needs your currency, you gain enormous economic power. Everybody needs your dollar, everybody needs your currency. That creates power for your country. Okay? The system, so let's talk about how we came about on this system. All right. So the system really kind of took off in the 70s, right? After the US left the gold standard, 1971, Nixon, the dollar was no longer backed by gold. Okay. That created a major problem. Why would countries continue trusting the dollar if it's not backed by anything? So the US made strategic arrangements with major oil producing countries, especially countries in the Middle East like Saudi Arabia. Okay. The arrangement was simple. Saudi Arabia would sell oil in US dollars, and in return, the US provided military protection and economic cooperation. All right. Soon, most global oil trade became dollar based. And because oil is essential to every economy, countries had little choice but to hold large reserves of dollars. All right. That helped preserve the dollar's dominance even after gold backing disappeared. Okay. Um, so this system gives the United States several major advantages, and we're going to talk about those advantages right now. Okay. So first off, it increases demand for US dollars globally. Secondly, it allows the US government to borrow more money cheaply because foreign countries can buy US Treasury bonds. And third, it strengthens Wall Street and US financial markets. And this matters because America currently carries over $36 trillion in national debt. Without global demand for dollars and Treasury bonds, borrowing costs could rise significantly. Okay? The petrodollar system essentially helps finance the U.S. government itself. That's one of the reasons. Uh, that's one of the reasons economists watch de-dollarization trends so closely. I recently made a video about de-dollarization. De-dollarization. Um, if you would please go check that video out, and we're going to hop into our next topic about this. Where where are things this is kind of where things get interested, but when you throw in or you talk about the rise of the BRICS and de-dollarization, that's kind of where things get a little, you know, like I said, interesting. So here we go. Countries like China and Russia have been pushing for alternatives to the dollar system. They kind of fed up with the dollar. Well, fed up with the US. So the BRICS nations, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have openly discussed increasing trade in local currencies. China has also expanded oil purchases using the yuan instead of dollars in some of its arrangements. This trend is often called de-dollarization. Now, to be clear, the dollar is still overwhelmingly dominant globally. All right, roughly 58% of the global foreign exchange reserves are still held in US dollars. But you're starting to have a lot of cracks show up. Cracks are starting to appear. And if fewer countries rely on dollars over time, the US could lose some of its economic leverage. Now, a quick pause, guys. If you want more simplified breakdowns covering global economics, inflation, geopolitics, and financial markets, please make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. The world economy is changing fast, and this channel helps explain what it actually means. Let's hop back into the petrodollar. All right. So will we see a collapse in the petrodollar? Probably not. The dollar still dominates for the most part. Okay, it dominates everything from global trade to banking, um, central bank reserves, debt markets. The petrodollar is still dominant, and replacing the global reserve currency it's not easy as you think. It's extremely difficult. But what you gonna replace it with? What's better than the dollar? But the bigger risk may be a gradual erosion over time. Think about it that way. If more oil trades shift away from dollars, global demand for dollars could weaken. That could eventually lead to higher borrowing costs, more inflation pressure, weaker treasury demand. It could lead to reduced global influence from the US. This is why geopolitics and economics are deeply connected. All right? Currencies aren't just money. Think about currency. This is what I would like my viewers to think about. Think about currencies as more so as power, not just something for trade. Currencies aren't just money, they're power. So here's the big takeaway from all of this. The petrodollar system helped turn the US dollar into the world's dominant currency by linking global oil trade directly to dollars. That system strengthened the US economy, global demands for dollars, and American financial influence. But but now, okay, countries are slowly exploring alternatives. They're slowly starting to break away from the dollar. Okay. The biggest question is, will the dollar remain dominant? Okay. Or are we going to witness, or are we witnessing the beginning of the major global financial shift? Please drop a comment below. Do you think the dollar will still dominate 20 years from now? Like, subscribe, and share this video if you want more simple breakdowns of economics and global finance. This is Economics 101, your number one source for everything economics, and I'll see you on the next video.